Thanks for staying on with us. This is First Trades, and if you're just joining in, I'm sure it's going to be a big smile on your face given the stellar rally that's playing out. Record highs on the screen at 21,700, and it's a concerted effort coming in from sectors across the board. We may have tempered off somewhat, but a lot of fervor within the broader universe too. Hudco, Hindustan Copper, Nalco, Galaxy Surfactants, Thermax, BHEL, all flexing their muscles in trade. But it's already the 28th of December and we're nearing close to the end of a pretty stellar year. Let's find out what exactly the trends are when it comes to food, the restaurant industry, pricing trends, etc. And we've got Anjan Chatterjee, Chairman Managing Director at Speciality Restaurants, joining in, as well as Anurag, Katriar, Trustee NRAI and founder Indigo Hospitality. So if I want to get a booking then, Mr. Chatterjee, I'm sure I should have already done it by now. Is there an absolute flurry for restaurants across the board when it comes to the New Year weekend?
The trend actually started from Christmas Eve, and it's been better and better because in spite of the fact that we have weekdays going on between the 24th and the 31st, I think we've been seeing the demand of the weekdays surging. And of course, the 31st being the most important time when we have capacity, which is limited, as you know. So if there's a demand supply, I wish it was there throughout the year.
Yeah, for sure. And Anurag, clearly it seems to be these 2 weekends that are fueling demand. Is that some sort of a trend that you have seen, or by and large with a lot of factors that are supportive of the restaurant and the F&B industry, has the trend overall for the year have been very supportive for the industry? Anurag, you're on mute. If you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. No, so I was saying that, the 24th to 31st weekend has traditionally been very good. And the buoyancy comes in because people are in a festive mood. But overall, also, if you look at this whole year, this year has not been bad at all. We have seen some very decent growth, though, the trends are very different from if I look back 5 years ago. 5 years ago, like, for example, Diwali would be huge buoyancy, followed by, there was a momentum going into New Year. This year, we saw after Diwali, there was a little lull, then it started slowly picking up, and now it has peaked. Going with my past experience, I think this buoyant trend should continue till about end of February. This is the time when there is lots of inward tourism into India. People are traveling, people are splurging money. And I am assuming that with additional disposable income in the hands of people, this trend will hold good for some more time.
Across, the trend is looking good, but Anjan, when there was this spike in inflation at the mid of the year and start of the year, a lot of restaurants has actually taken price hike. But it doesn't seem like there has been any reversal when we look at the end of the year. And that's partly also because, as you talked about, the demand is strong and people are actually willing to spend more. As we head into 2024, what's your expectation in terms of how the pricing will pan out? Are you likely to take more price hikes, if at all?
See, what is happening is whatever we increase, unless we are compelled against the wall, we don't pass it on to the consumer. And I think going forward, for a brand, for a corporation which is long term, we are very, very careful about holding the price line as much as possible. And we have not done that too much. Inflation has been a little wobbling. And at this point of time, as we are talking, I'm sure Anurag will agree that there have been worries on the vegetables, on the poultry, or also the meat. And also going forward, I think there will be some inflationary trends in the food prices. And we are watching it very cautiously. But you see, what happens is that we are a debt-free company. What sometimes we do is that we pay them in advance, we get an advantage, and the suppliers have lived with us for 30 long years. And there are accommodations of this purchase processes we do where we try and balance it. And the last thing is to pass it on to the consumer.
Yes, it's a thin rope and multiple factors that you have to deal with. So I take that point. But Anurag, this year we saw almost 800 restaurants being opened in Mumbai itself, and it seemed like that there was a bit of a trend for speciality cuisine or individual cuisines. Okay, I think we've lost Anurag's connectivity at this point of time. Or okay, he's back. Anurag, if you can hear me out, and the question was regarding the restaurant openings, almost 800 in Mumbai this year, and a lot of single cuisine, and that's the trend that seems to be picking up. Is this something which you think is likely to build on into 2024?
Yes, I feel this trend is going to continue. Uh, See, there is nothing stopping expansion within the F&B sector now. The mood is good. There is capital available. The only thing which is really holding us back is the denial of input tax credit on GST, which takes up our project cost by about 20%. As far as cuisines are concerned, I think I see two trends: single cuisine restaurants from international, as well as regional Indian food is coming up in a big way. And I see that trend to continue for a while. People are now looking for, kind of experiences which are very focused rather than a general multi-cuisine experience.
Just wanted to know, in terms of going into the year ahead, is it going to be some specific trends that you see really playing out, maybe more focus on sustainability, on eating healthy millets, etc., that kind of a trend, plant-based food? Any specific trends, Anurag?
These things will continue to keep playing up. Millet is playing a very huge role. But I guess, these things take a little while to become mainstream. They could be like, there will be a little shift, but it will not be like a tectonic shift that suddenly people are saying, I will only prefer things made out of millet or whatever, vegan happened a few years ago. I don't see that happening because end of the day, when you go to a restaurant, the idea is to really indulge yourself. It's a celebration of sorts. And these things take a little bit of a backseat. I don't see that happening. However, I must say that looking ahead, I do feel that there are certain segments within F&B which will see a little higher growth than others. For example, my personal assessment is fine dining is going to see a little more muted growth.
Is going to see muted growth. I wonder what you were saying next because we seem to have lost your audio. Are you back?
Now,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Anurag.
No, I said, so for example, a fine dining may see a little muted growth, but the casual dining segment may see a much faster growth.
Okay. What about you then, Anjan? Any sort of outlook for the year ahead? Do you believe that with all the factors like rising urbanization, as well as supportive government policies, etc., that we will see this trend overall picking up? Is there a worry that maybe food delivery at home and that convenience factor will sort of eclipse the dining out experience in the year ahead?
I don't see that because delivery has actually added on. It's become a new vertical. 28% of our sales is delivery. We never did that pre-pandemic. And that's not a worry at all, excepting the fact that my aggregator friends should be looking at the commissions of the robust brands like us and others. I mean, Anurag must be smiling about this. But coming back to what I am seeing, the trends going forward will be better, but there'll be huge competition. So the value of the brand standards will be the most important differentiators, and the differentiation within the cuisine, consistency. And one of the reasons is also the fact that if the GST input, the input credit tax comes in, it'll be a big boon to us. But otherwise, I don't see too much of a worry. As you know that if you want to go to a mainland China or Calcutta or any one of the places that, even Indigo for that matter, you wouldn't get a single booking at this point of time. And there are areas of this kind which keep on coming. And a lot of people are coming out to eat. The average number of times people eat out in India is growing, and it's everything. The mood is very, very positive. I don't see any reason that there is any concern in the mid and long term.
Okay, and before I let you guys go, what's been the best or most memorable, tastiest dish in the year gone by that you just can't get your mind off or you want to have a taste of again? Anjan, go first.
See, I'm a Bengali, so as he said that the regional cuisine is going to do better and better. There's something called Bonurage March, which is something. It's not just because we invented it; we made a tweak on the same thing. It's become a little more baked because of the London market. So I personally would go with a Bonurage March. I wish you could have, in case you're a non-vegetarian. It's in London Chorangi, which we have opened recently. So that's been my favorite. Besides the outside, there are so many of them. I mean, there is Indian accent food, which I've had, the blue cheese naan, etc., etc. But this is where I come from.
I'm non-vegetarian. I am open to trying all of these wonderful things that you've recommended. Please do send them over. And what about you, Anurag? What's the yummiest thing that you've had?
So, we went out of our comfort zone and tried Mexican food this year with a brand called Tijuana. So I've eaten so much of Mexican food. Some of it is staying with me, and I would say the burrito bowl especially. But looking back inwards into India, I think champaran meat is something that is going to remain my favorite for many months to come.
Okay, good to have you guys on board. My stomach is growling. Can't wait to dig in. Thanks so much for joining in. Tell you what.